You have tried training 3 to 5 times a week and assume that you're eating very clean and healthy. However, you find that your clothes are still fitting the same and your jeans are still tight, while your weight is not moving on the scale. In this video, I'll try to break down where you can be going wrong and how to fix that. So stick around and watch the full video. It turns out that exercise alone will not necessarily be a big driver for weight loss. Because what happens through the day, if you get yourself really tired in the gym first thing in the morning, then you may find yourself moving a lot less through the day and saving those calories and energy elsewhere. And that's just the way our body likes to compensate for the extra calorie expenditure. However, if you're still moving in the same way, you will end up burning more calories. And not to say that exercise will not help you to lose weight at all. What you have to understand that adding a workout in your day doesn't necessarily mean that you'll burn that much calories. So it doesn't mean that you can eat whatever you want and you'll get away with that even if the food is considered clean. My name is Modi. I'm a personal trainer and a studio owner where I help people on a day-to-day basis to lose body fat, get stronger, build muscle, and feel more energized. And if you want to start losing weight without any investment, check the link down below and follow the tips that I'll send you through email, which will help you to lose a jean size in 30 days. One of the first steps that you have to take if you want to establish where you are with the weight loss is to actually quantify what you're eating rather than guessing. What do I mean by that? Well, simply download app like MyFitnessPal, or I prefer Calorie Counter Plus, and enter all the details it asks from you, and basically use that app to track your food for 1, 2, or 3 weeks. So start with 1 week, see how annoying that is, because it is extremely annoying for me, and just see what you're eating. But you have to track everything, every bit of latte that you drink, every sugary drink that you may be touching, even though it's considered fruit juice, all the peanut butter that you may be eating, which is also considered healthy, basically everything that comes into your mouth. And you have to keep a track of that because it will do a couple of things. It will bring some awareness into you to understand what you're actually consuming and where the calories are coming from. Because in my previous workplace, I remember doing some demonstrations, like a bowl of salad was, chicken salad with a little bit of mayo, was 400 calories. And then like a tiny handful of peanut butter was the same 400 calories. But one was like a full salad bowl and peanut butter was just a handful. And both are healthy foods. But if it comes to weight loss, peanut butter can really mess your calories up. And that's why I want you to track every single thing that goes into your mouth so you can understand exactly how many calories you're consuming. And if your 5 days a week training routine also means that every single time you go to the gym, you jump on a treadmill or a bike and all you do is cardio for an hour, that's also not the best approach that you should take. So what you have to do is shift some of that cardio to strength training, because cardio is great for you. However, strength training is better, especially if you don't do any. So sacrifice, it will be a pleasure. 2 to 3 days out of those 5, hit the weights. So go in the gym in the functional weights area and practice some compound lifts like deadlift, squat, pull-ups. You can do assisted pull-ups, bent over row, shoulder presses, bench press. Practice those compound movements. And if you don't feel confident, just simply ask people who seem to be more experienced, because some of them will be really happy to help you. And if there is a personal trainer wondering about doing nothing on the gym floor, ask them to help. Because for me personally, when I was working on commercial gym floor, that was the best thing of the day, if someone would come and ask me for help, because I would much rather help a person on the floor to learn with lifting technique than clean the equipment. It's a lot more fun as a personal trainer. So don't be scared to ask for help for people around you. The third reason why you may not be losing fat is your poor sleep and loads of stress. So these are also 2 things that we need to pay attention to. Every single person on this planet and you're not an exception, has to sleep around 8 hours a day. That's where I personally fall a little bit short. I personally only sleep 6.5 to 7 hours, and I know I need to improve that. However, if you find yourself sleeping 5, 6, or 4 hours, that will not help you with weight loss. What happens when you sleep less? Your hormone called ghrelin goes up and you end up being more hungry through the day. You may find yourself snacking every now and again when you're passing by because you feel hungry almost all day. And I personally do notice that if I have less sleep, I get a lot more hungry through the day. And that way, I probably end up eating a little bit of excess calories. That's why you only see the top of me. High stress also comes into that. So stress normally increases your cortisol levels in your body. Not all of that is bad. However, when it's chronically stacking up and you're constantly stressed, this doesn't help. And some of the stress is running in the background. For example, if you are doing a lot of work in your physical job, and that's very stressful, deadlines, then high performance requirements from your employer, and then your kids have some problems in school. All these things are stacking up, and you may not be aware of them, but you have to try to manage that stress as much as you possibly can. And I think one of the best ways is to actually think through these problems, how you could solve them better. Like with an employer, if the pressure is too high for you to perform, maybe have a chat that some things that they're asking you, they're not reasonable. But the kids, I think you can have, depending on their age, I think you can have a fairly decent conversation. But to be honest, I think that that's not the main problem where our stress comes from. I think one of the main problems, my phone is over there, but it's the phones that we have, because you sit down scrolling, we're looking at everyone living a better life than us, and we're sitting down disappointed. So I think the big contributor of stress is actually phones and mobile devices and things like that. So ditch your phone and you will see, you will feel a lot better. Trust me, I've done that. One of my friends done that. We stopped scrolling on social media and we feel a lot better on a day-to-day basis. So that might be another reason why you're building up stress and not losing fat as a result of that. One more thing to add on to everything I said is don't only track one metric when it comes to your progress. So don't only look at the scales, because if you've been going to the gym and you just started, and you did lift weights, you do a bit of cardio, your scale might not move, but you may notice that your waist got smaller, maybe your arms got a little bit bigger if you're looking to grow muscle, and you may notice some other changes in your body. Maybe you were not been able to do a pull-up and now you can. Maybe you were not been able to lift 50-kilo deadlift and now you can do 125. It's all a sign of progress, and it may not necessarily show on the scales, but it still is. To give you an example, one lady called Tammy. We started training 2-3 months ago, more like 3 months ago. And first of all, she lifted 40 kilograms, and that was heavy for her. A few months later, she's very strong. She lifted 125 kilos for 5 reps, and I was like, what the hell is happening here? This is a good indicator of progress. It doesn't necessarily mean that the weight will move on the scales, but you may got stronger, maybe your waist shrink down a little bit, and you may see some visual changes in the mirror as well. So take pictures, take measurements, track what you can lift and how it feels, so you can also see progress elsewhere, because this will help you to stay more on track. And I hope you found this video helpful, and YouTube thinks that you will find this video helpful some way here too. And see you in the next one.